All right, a very good morning to you once again. Of course, ahead of the G20, you've heard throughout the course of this week that there'll be road closures around Johannesburg. We've got our reporters that are out for us. Dludla is in Sandton, as well as Lopang Alamo, who is in Nasrec. We're expecting some of those areas to be incredibly busy. Those road closures should have started by now. Let's start with SABC News reporter Dludla, who is in Sandton. Calvin, a very good morning to you. Talk to us what the impact is at this particular hour. Have we seen any of those changes? Of course, we understand this is all a dry run ahead of what's expected to be a very busy week next week.
Good morning to you, Griselda, and to our SABC viewers at home. We have moved back to Cranston Drive, where we are monitoring these road closures. In your introduction, you mentioned that the JMPD officials are urging motorists to be patient on the roads and adhere to road rules. Superintendent Xolani Fihla is the spokesperson of the JMPD. He is here with me. Superintendent Fihla, thank you very much for your time. Earlier, you were with my colleague Lopang and Nasrec, and now you have moved to Sandton. Tell me about those roads who will be affected about this operation.
Thank you so much for the opportunity, Calvin, and let me greet the viewers. We know that a significant part of the city of Johannesburg is affected with these rolling operations. It's coordinated operations from various law enforcement agencies within the province of Gauteng, the Road Traffic Management Corporation through the National Traffic Police, Gauteng Traffic Police, the Johannesburg Metropolitan Police Department, the SAPS, the Tshwane Metro Police and the Ekurhuleni Metro Police Department. And with the affected routes, we know that a greater part of Sandton and Nasrec are the greatly affected areas. And currently we have seen operations passing through Grayston Drive, but it has been reopened now for traffic to flow. We are seeing that the M1 is still closed with heavy congestion coming from the Buckley interchange, and this is to allow the operations to move from the Sandton area towards Nasrec. And within the Nasrec area, we know a couple of routes then have been closed off to traffic, especially on Rancho Road. Northern part of Rancho Road is closed off, and the southern part of Rancho Road has been converted into dual carriage.
When we were down the road, we saw some of the motorists were stopping, engaging with traffic officials. Some of them, they looked confused, that they didn't understand what was happening. Have you communicated with motorists about this operation?
We have been doing our best to communicate with residents and motorists through media statements that have been released, through interviews, and also sharing messages through our social media pages. And it is important for our residents to be aware of these type of operations, because this is similar to what we are going to be seeing next week on the 22nd and on the 23rd. So we'll be pumping more messages for our residents so that they are aware and that they can use alternative routes, or maybe even stay at home and watch TV while these operations are continuing.
I see even helicopters from traffic. Which other stakeholders are you engaging or are you working on this?
As I did mention, it is a coordinated effort. It's not only the Johannesburg Metropolitan Police Department, but as I mentioned, it's a Road Traffic Management Corporation, South African Police Services, Gauteng Traffic Police, and our colleagues from Tshwane and Ekurhuleni Metro Police Department.
You can tell us your message to motorists?
Our message for motorists and residents is for them to be patient at this present moment with the operations, to reassure them that with the road closures, they are periodic, so it's not completely between 9 and 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Once the operations have passed through certain routes, then roads will be reopened. But most importantly as well, let's be cooperative with the law enforcement officials who are on the ground, and also just be aware of the closures and alternative routes that are available.
Before I release you, Superintendent Fihla, two questions. First, I see each and every corner there are police officers, JMPD members. Do you have enough boots on the grounds? Number two, how are your preparations going to the G20 over the weekend?
Starting with our preparations, I think we're 100% there. This is one of the operations leading towards the actual summit. So we are getting things right, and once the summit does start, things will be running in proper order within the city of Johannesburg. And when it comes to manpower, of course, it is a coordinated effort with other various law enforcement agencies. So we are covering all of the routes to make sure that they are safe, but to also ensure that motorists are diverted from all those closures. But in closing, let's enjoy this global event and ensure that the country does shine in a global stage.
Behavior of motorists since you have been closing roads?
The behavior of motorists, we have seen that they are complying. I know it might be challenging for them, and especially if you're stuck in traffic, but to reassure them once again, once the operations are have moved past, then the roads will be reopened.
Just to confirm and get a clarity, is this operation for today only?
These operations, they are continuous. We have been doing them in the previous months. They will continue until the end of the summit, but with the joint coordinated law enforcement operations, they will continue way before the G20 Leaders Summit.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That was Superintendent Dludla, the spokesperson of the Johannesburg Metropolis Department, known as the JMPD. Lopang Alam, my colleague is in Nazareth. I'm handing over to her, Lopang.
Well, Calvin, that's a really good question that you posed to Xolani there, in terms of whether or not people were informed timeously and on a number of platforms, because what we just saw at this moment, and unfortunately now the police have been able to now open this stretch of the road that you see here behind us. We saw a number of motorists voicing their frustrations and really asking these law enforcement officers as to what is going on. Where should they now be using their vehicles? Should they turn around? Some even complaining about the number of law enforcement that have made them turn around, and they've been driving around in circles. In fact, Crisalda, we are currently just outside the Nazareth Memorial. Now, this is where we know that over 10 families on every weekend, really, who come here, bury their loved ones, and we are yet to see any sort of funeral taking place. We do not understand at this point whether or not people are allowed to go in with their motor vehicles, because, I mean, this is a special case where families would love to bury their loved ones. So what contingency plans does the city of Johannesburg have for such things? We do see families coming in and out of the cemetery, so they had to park a bit further away than where they would normally park. We are currently also seeing at this moment, and our colleague Noam Bender will give you those visuals, some vehicles that are being turned around. In fact, at this point, what you see in front of you is the Nazareth Road. Now, this is one of the busiest roads, and we've seen quite a number of those vehicles that will be on the road during the G20, making their way from this end. And what you will see now, one of the motorists also just really trying to convince law enforcement officials rather, that they have a funeral. They would like to access this stretch of the road. There is no other entrance, unfortunately, to the cemetery, out of the cemetery. So some of the things that really need some answers, some answering to. We've been seeing this the entire morning, really, where motorists are quite confused. We've actually spoken to a few who said they didn't know about these road closures. In fact, some of them also alluding to the fact that they are really in the dark where the G20 Summit in its entirety is concerned. So quite a few areas of concern where we've noticed that a number of motorists, Crisalda, are yet to know what these road closures are for. They are yet to they're yet to heed the call by the officials who have been trying to alert motorists of alternative routes that they can use from the ones that they are used to. So as things stand, traffic is still under control, and we're yet to see traffic that is backlogged or motorists who are really, really frustrated. Just really some concerned motorists who said, but they didn't know. So we'll keep an eye out on that, Crisalda, as we monitor this dry run for the rest of the day.
To my colleagues, Lopang, who is out in Nasrek at this particular hour, as well as Calvin Dludla, who is out in Sandton monitoring those road closures ahead of the G20. Of course, you could see that lots of preparation has been put in to ensuring that there is a smooth, dry run, to ensure that traffic will also move smoothly once you have a host of those visitors that will be arriving in South Africa.